Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Things.
We're back, man. Episode 200.
200.
That's a lot of fucking
really
episodes,
made it, man. Good job.
200 episodes, man. This is rare air for podcasts because most people quit. They quit at 30, 40, probably even less. They become less consistent. They become less invested. Yes. They don't care as much. And the thing about it, man, when you actually love and care about what you create, you cannot quit on it. And this is just, and by the way, we're not speaking from a place of extreme accomplishment because we haven't accomplished as much as we like to in the podcast space.
Yeah.
But here we are, episode 200, man. We've reached the playoffs of the playoffs of
playoffs.
Yeah, right. We've reached the playoffs of the podcast world.
What is some advice you could give to somebody that's trying to, get a podcast started or something like that?
If you want to start a podcast, make sure you actually give a fuck and you actually start it with someone that you can trust. Mm-hmm. Because if you start a podcast and you love it, but you got a co-host that's wishy-washy and doesn't show up, then it's going to crush your shit. You might have to find another co-host. Luckily, I have a co-host that is just as invested as I am. Mm-hmm. So we've showed up every week for 200 episodes, man.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, and it's crazy. People would look at us and be like, I mean, why are they doing this every week? They're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Why are they showing up every week? Because this is what it takes to become successful in this space. Mm-hmm. You guys can't see it. A lot of times I can't see it, but it's necessary. Mm-hmm. It's necessary to keep on working. So we made it to 200 episodes. I'm very proud. I feel very, 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 how do you say it? I feel very fortunate that we haven't had any hiccups up to this point. I've had a lot of life events that have happened that could have derailed this shit. I'm sick right now. I kind of still feel like shit. It's not COVID though, folks. I mean, I'm good. I got the common cold, but I do feel like shit, and I had really bad gas before the podcast. I don't know what.
Is this your flu game?
I don't know. This is a lot of, I've just unpacked a lot for the listeners. Mm-hmm. But yeah, really bad gas, and I'm sick, and I'm still here. Mm-hmm. So there's no excuses, man.
Yeah, I think if you, the thing for me is the unknown. Like when you put a lot of work into something, you don't want to quit before you reach the pinnacle of your success. And I think that's like part of the reason why I just keep going. Because I'm like, yo, you see what's out there. You see the type of podcasts that are getting huge contracts, $1 million contracts, $5 million, $10 million, $60 million. And you're like, in your head, you're equally as talented and can communicate equally as good as some of those podcasts out there. So you're just like, well, let's keep trying and let's keep pushing until something happens. And then even if we reach half the success of those people, like you could still carve out a niche for yourself.
Yeah, what we're up against is very tough. Mm-hmm. We're up against a very oversaturated platform where there's a bunch of people who start podcasts and just fucking quit. Yeah. So in the middle of all the people, and even Rory talked about this, shout out to Rory and Maul. But Rory talked about it's harder to find great podcasts because so many people oversaturate the platform with shit podcasts. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by shit, I guess shit is subjective, but I would label shit as not. You could tell that you're not remotely preparing the conversation, that you're a horrible communicator, that you're inconsistent. That's a shit podcast. You're wasting people's time. It's not okay to the people that are listening to you, that are taking time out of their day, whether it's going to work or if it's taking a trip somewhere. It's not fair to those people that you're on there talking about, oh, my shoelaces, they're not the right color. I don't know what's. Shut the fuck up, man. Talk about what the people want to hear.
Yeah.
You're wasting people's time. But yeah, this is very rare air here.
I think that's important because you have to implement personal stories. That's just, that's how we learn about people. We learn about, where they come from and all these different things. But don't get on podcasts having a phone conversation. I don't think that's not really what listeners want to hear. They want to hear your take on whatever. And it doesn't always have to be like popular things in the culture. It could even be like something you're well researched on, whether it's psychology or music or movies, whatever the case may be. People just want to hear what other people have to say about different things.
And my objective is not to have people that listen to me and agree with everything I say. I think that it's dope to have, to be objective and like disagree with what I say or what Keith says and maintain your own way that you think about things, but also be able to listen to what me and Keith say and say, I see why they feel that way, but I feel different, but still be engaged in the conversation. And I think that's why the people who probably listen to this podcast, why they've stuck around, is the fact that we're not closed-minded. And we may feel the way we feel about something, and they may completely fucking disagree, but they still know that we're not closed-minded. I'm blessed that I don't live in this echo chamber of whether it's political or race or whatever it is. I don't live in this echo chamber where I only subscribe to only so many things. I actually can look outside of all these different variables and find the truth in other people's opinions. Even if I completely fucking disagree with it, I can still find some validity. And even if I don't find validity, I can find validity in, I guess, the idea of what someone feels. So, yeah, man, it's 200. I'm very proud. Fuck it. This ain't the playoffs. This is Super Bowl.
There you go.
This is the Super Bowl. But we still got to win the game.
Yeah.
Right? We've made it to the Super Bowl, but we still got to win the game.
Play good defense. Don't turn the ball over.
Yep. We are in the, you know what? I'm going to say, I don't even want to use that. That's a bad analogy. I'm going to say we're in the third quarter.
The third quarter?
We're in the third quarter. We're not in the Super Bowl. I don't want to take us there. We are in the third quarter of a very important game.
It's like it's a regular season game, but it's like it has standing implications.
Yeah, standing implications, playoff implications. If you don't win this game, you ain't going to the playoffs. Kind of like last week when the Niners beat the Rams.
Yeah, there you go.
And then right now when they just beat the Cowboys. This is what I love about starting at the time we do, because we get all the information all the way up to the end of the week.
Yeah.
We start the podcast around either from 5:30 to like 7 p.m. on a Sunday night, and we get to get all the juicy news. And that's the advantage we have with this podcast, too, is the time that we started.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they release on Tuesday. It's like, golly.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on a Tuesday except tacos?
Some people do twice a week, so they not
That's
really.
tough. Twice a week is hard.
They not missing a lot. It's hard. It's harder when you're doing it for free. It's probably not that difficult if you're getting paid.
Yeah, that's true.
So much money an episode.
Yeah, that's true. If you're getting paid to do podcasts, I know me and Keith could, without a doubt, do 2 podcasts a week. Yeah. But we have lifestyles and bills that we have to take care of. Yeah. So that's what makes it different. If you pay me to be 100% freaking content creator, then you goddamn right I could do 2 episodes a week. Yeah, you mean to tell me I ain't got to spend more than 4 hours a week doing podcasts? Like, come on. There's some podcasters that say, podcasting can be tough. I had to take a break. It's like, man, shut up. I'm a truck driver. I work more hours than most people in America, right?
Yeah.
And then once I get done with that, I'm still doing podcasts. I'm still giving Keith calls throughout the week. We're still figuring it out. Keith has a business that he's upholding. Like, we have real lives. We're real human beings.
Yeah.
Okay? So, yeah, there's that. But, yeah, back to the Niners-Dallas, yo. Yeah, we really just smacked the Dallas at home.
Yeah, man. I knew we were going to win. I know the momentum we had towards the end of the season, and then I also know that we're a team. Being a Niners fan,
right.
But we're a team that we can beat anybody on any given Sunday, and we can lose to anybody on any given
Sunday. Especially with Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback. Fuck.
Yeah, so, but I feel like there are certain franchises, and mainly the Raiders and the Cowboys, who just fumble the bag all the time. And I felt like they would just not show up. Next Sunday is going to be a whole different story.
That's going to be fucking tough.
Yeah, so that one I'm just going to be like, freaking biting my nails the whole game. But I thought we could beat the Cowboys for sure. Yeah,
I think, first of all, Jimmy has to stop turning the fucking ball over. Like, he's turned the ball over 5 times in 3 games. That's ridiculous. 5 interceptions in 3 games? You don't got to watch football to know that that's shit quarterbacking. And we sneak by teams because our defense and our run game is dominant, and we got Debo Samuel. But that shit ain't gonna keep working, especially against the Packers. They got an elite passing game over there. If we can't keep up with Aaron Rodgers, if we give Aaron the ball back, because we did it earlier in the season with 2 minutes left, he marched down the field and he fucking scored.
Yeah, and Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the game.
Yeah,
right now,
dude, they'll fucking kill us out there, bro. We can't have that happening again.
They for sure putting points up on the board.
But, dude, I don't know who won this game, the 49ers or the internet, because this one game produced like 4 memes. It was a girl that was crying, drunk and crying, and it was like the third quarter. The game wasn't even over. She was just crying. And then
it was a lot of time left.
It was this one dude that was praying. Like
it was two females crying.
Yeah.
They showed them during the game. They showed them like back to back. And
What,
Tony Romo was like, "This game is not over yet. I don't know what they."
Yeah. And then the one girl, she had been advised probably by friends that she was a meme because she got her phone and was showing her friend during the game.
That's funny.
Yo, man, the internet is powerful, man.
Yeah,
internet is powerful. All right, man. Enough of this, man. Let's get into it. Switching gears. Recently, there was some police officers that got in trouble for being busted on Pokemon instead of answering a call. All right. 2 LAPD officers fired for ignoring call for backup because they were playing Pokemon Go. 2 former Los Angeles Police Department officers had their appeal for reinstatement denied after they were fired for choosing to play Pokemon Go instead of responding to a request for backup while on duty. The Verge reports the California Court of Appeal upheld the firings on Friday. Luis Lozado and Eric Mitchell were radioed in April 2017 about assisting a captain with a reported robbery in a Macy's at Crenshaw Mall. The 2 initially failed to respond, and when they finally did, all Sergeant Jose heard back was no. Gomez asked them about the communication in a 7-Eleven parking lot later that day, and they both denied hearing a request for backup, claiming there was a loud noise and a lot of music in the area. Yeah, that noise was Pokemon, sir. That's what the noise was.
Pika.
Yeah, so he was too busy. He was too busy chasing Pikachu instead of chasing a Pika criminal.
He was trying to get some Charmanders and build.
Yeah. Trying to get some goddamn Charmanders. Okay, look. What I would have to say about this is I hope that the police, that being a cop isn't such an undesirable job that they're just hiring anybody now. Because I hope that's not the case. Because I know a lot of people don't want to be cops right now. But I will say, we do need law enforcement and we do need good cops. But we don't need Pokemon cops.
Yeah.
We need real fucking cops. Okay? It could be a tough job. It could be difficult, right? It could be difficult dealing with the public. You don't know if somebody got a gun or a firearm. But I would think that you are less ready for that situation if you're playing Pokemon.
Yeah, come on, dog.
Imagine playing Pokemon and you just get shot. Imagine that. You're playing Pokemon and then someone shoots you because you wasn't ready for that call. That's fucked up, man. That's... Yeah. Are they just hiring anyone now? Or are these just bad cops? And also, you can't really quantify the idea of a few bad apples. And I'm not here to say that the police department, of a majority of them are bad or good. I'm not here to say that. What I am here to say is they are 100% human. They are 100% human beings. And when they get this job, they would have fucked up at any other one. They would have fucked up if they worked at Macy's. They would have fucked up if they worked as a mechanic. They would have fucked up anywhere because that's who they are as a human being. It has less to do with being a cop and more with the individual. We just need a bunch of individuals who happen to be good cops.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the hiring process goes, I don't know if there are any people out there in interviews or filling out applications that's showing up and saying like, yeah, I'm a little bit lazy and I have a lack of focus sometimes. So, I mean, I understand how you could hire like an immature cop like this and then, you know, only because people's, I guess, the quality of their work is circumstantial. So, you know, if Pokemon Go wasn't a thing, then, you know, the police officers probably wouldn't have been distracted, or they might have been distracted by something else. But it's just unfortunate that we uphold policing at this certain standard where, you know, they're supposed to be protect and serve, and all these quotes and stuff like that, and the badge and the uniform and all these things, and we look at them with a certain level of, I guess, like appreciation, and then also like a certain level of fear in a sense, only to find out that there's officers out there that's playing Pokemon Go when they should be, at the Crenshaw Mall.
Yeah. It's at Macy's.
Yeah, it's just like that like you said, that those same people that screwed up as a police officer, if they were at McDonald's, would be the same people that probably would be texting when there's a line around the block, or whatever the case may be. That same person, because they say how you do anything is how you do everything.
Right.
So those same officers, like, they would screw up in any capacity. I think there has to be, I don't know, maybe they have to change the vetting process for hiring police officers. And I don't know what that would be. I'm not too familiar with, what they have to go through, but
yeah,
it's just these type of scenarios happen far too often.
Yeah, I mean, but like you hire human beings, there's going to be some human error. Mm-hmm. But it's better than, I guess, playing Fuckymon, because these cops be fucking each other too.
Oh yeah,
there's been police officers fucking other officers. Well, in heterosexual relationships, some probably not. That's not really important. But they playing Pussymon, Fuckymon, Suckymon. They trying to catch Sucky Chew. I just caught a Charmander. I just caught Bustymon. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. I've never been into Pokemon. I was too old when that shit came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you weren't too old, you just weren't into it. Because there's people
so?
Older than you that are interested in Pokemon.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh shit!
I mean, Desmond played it, and he's a year younger than you, so you guys are
that's
pretty
a good
much
point.
peers. Yeah,
I didn't care for it then.
Yeah, it was one of those things.
Remember back in the day when Teletubbies came out?
Yeah,
that had to be the weirdest fucking shit ever.
Yeah, especially as you get older, you're like, this is
what
strange.
is this? They just had they had fake televisions on their body, and they just made noises. They didn't even do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't even understand how shit like that gets popular.
It's probably a science behind it.
Yeah,
I couldn't really tell you what the
mind
science
control
is. Something
Illuminati.
I'm sure there was like some real meetings with people like, yo, this is how we could capture the attention of kids, whether it's the colors or the energy or the brightness of the screen or the music, whatever the case. And it just kind of,
I don't know. I think some shit people just throw out there and it makes it.
No, that's not. No one makes on the internet maybe, but you're not sitting in a meeting and spending thousands of dollars on something that you're just throwing out there.
That's true, but it all starts from paper.
Yeah.
So I think it all starts from an idea. You don't just know. You learn from failing.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the people that throw these ideas out, they gather that information from failing. They found out what captivates and what captures people based on how much they fail. So Teletubbies probably in its infancy was from failing. Probably from like people that ran that show, that probably ran other shows that failed. Mm-hmm. And they seen shows that were successful and said, let's try this.
Yeah, this is what works.
But they are spending money at these meetings to try to figure out what works.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the fuck that worked. Just like Tickle Me Elmo. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck was that so popular?
Somebody can tell you. That's what I read the book called like Hitmaker or something like that. Something like that. But it basically talks about this the science behind like how certain things got popular. And it talked about stuff like that. So it's not as abstract as like most people would think like you were saying, like, why is Teletubbies so popular?
Yeah,
but
I don't get that.
In reality, there are like people that worked for, was it on PBS?
Yeah.
People that work for PBS, I could tell you exactly why. It's like,
PBS
this is what we did. We marketed to this age group. We knew that this age group is attracted to these colors and all these kind of things.
Is PBS still a thing?
Yeah. I don't think
is?
they're going nowhere.
That shit does like, it just seemed like the channel nobody watch.
I mean, we don't really have TVs anymore. We just watch Netflix and HBO Max. And stuff.
PBS, yo. That's a trip. PBS had Reading Rainbow back in the day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you caught the reruns. You didn't catch like the shows.
Yeah, I don't. The
Take
syndicated
a look.
version.
It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. I can do anything. People my age will get that. They'll get that.
Yeah, no, that song used to slap.
Yeah. Reading Rainbow. I used to really like that. Fuck.
I could imagine like the Migos remixing that like in a modern day version.
Reading Rainbow. Yeah. Reading Rainbow. Whoa.
It's in the book. Yeah. Yeah. Bad and bougie. Yeah.
Skirt. I've never seen people that create sound effects. Now, let me be clear. The Migos are talented. There's no way around it. They're very original with their ad libs. Like the things that they do, nobody does that. They don't. Who's the one that do all this? I think it's Offset that really does a lot of them.
Offset, yeah.
But he be the one doing all the ad libs in the back.
Yeah.
Him and Takeoff. Takeoff is probably the least known member of Migos. I don't think he has any problem with that.
Yeah, I mean he's still part of the group. If they busting everything down 33%, then he ain't worried about nothing.
If you seen Takeoff in public, you just be like, I know him from somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where, but I know him from somewhere. Hey, did we used to go to school together?
Yeah.
I've seen some people before, and I thought about it. Like, you know what? I think that's who that was. Where they're like kind of popular from like a Netflix show or something, and you think you've seen them. Yeah. And then you just is like, oh, maybe that's them, maybe that's not. That's the type of popular I would like to be. I don't want to be like everybody knows me from the podcast type popular. I want to be the type of popular where I'm fucking rich, but I can still go to Food Max. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, but maybe not in my not in my city. If we from Bakersfield, people gonna know who we are.
Yeah, you can maneuver though. I think like the popular people that we know out here, because they're from here, obviously you're gonna have fans and people coming up to you, but you can navigate, you know, at least in Bakersfield, at least. You know, LA it might be a little bit different. And it also, we don't have like anybody that's super, super famous. I think who would you think is the most famous person that is out here? It's probably like a Kevin Edwards.
Yeah, Kevin Edwards, Derek Carr.
Carr, yeah.
Kevin Edwards, Derek Carr. There's other people who are popular here that we just don't know.
I forgot the dude's name.
A lot of people know Todd. Shout out to Todd Jones. A lot of people do know Todd.
Yeah, Todd. Shout out to Todd. Yeah.
But like the top popular.
Yeah. With Kevin Edwards, it's a lot of his peers are like, they know him personally. So you wouldn't get like people freaking out, but definitely kids for sure. Like if he pulled up to like any elementary school, kids are going crazy.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's true. Some people just aren't popular to us, but they're popular as fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's where you gotta toe the line. But yeah, man. As far as the police, dude, this is not an indictment on the whole police. I just think that if you're gonna take this job, be serious about it. It's just like we had the same, at least I did, or we both did, had the same tone of opinion about the truck driver that didn't read the signs. He didn't take the runaway ramps. Like if you're gonna do this job, you need to take it serious. It's a very serious job. You're not at McDonald's where you could burn a batch of fries and then just put a new batch in. When you're a cop and you get a call for backup, it could be the difference between an officer dying or an officer keeping his life because he had backup that showed up at the right time. So these cops really fucked up and they deserve to be fired. And they don't deserve to be reinstated. They don't.
I think that we, one thing that, when I was in physics in high school, my teacher explained to us, he was talking about how like certain space shuttles had crashed. And he was essentially saying like, somebody did the formula incorrectly, or a decimal here, decimal there, whatever the case may be, and that leads to the space shuttle blowing up. But I think we should kind of approach all of our work with that same sort of like carefulness or eye. Like if you're a physicist and you're trying to calculate numbers to get the space shuttle out of the atmosphere or whatever, you got to be you got to be like super, on point with your numbers and stuff like that. But there are jobs out here, and primarily like cops, where it's okay to make a mistake, which is like that's not cool. Like there's certain jobs where there's real stakes, where, like you mentioned, the referees got a play call wrong in the Bengals game. They should have redid the play when they blew the whistle, and they got fired. Yep. But it's a lot of cops out here that's doing.
They didn't get fired, but they didn't allow.
They got removed from the playoffs. Yeah. But in terms of like these police officers, like they kind of get a slap on the wrist a lot of times, which is like it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's one of those things, man. Like it's not the end of this, but I would say I was thinking like, yo, what if these cops were good at their job? What if they were really great cops? But they were human and they had an off day. But I thought about it. I'm like, yo, you not that bad of a cop to where you missing the fucking call because you own Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Like if you do that, dog, then there ain't no excuse for you, bro. Like there can't be no excuse. Another thing I was thinking of too is when you said that we should do our job, we should all approach our job with that certain level of seriousness. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about Little Caesars because they pizzas is trash.
Yeah,
they had the nerve to raise the price on them goddamn pizzas.
They raised the price.
It's $5.55 now. In some places, it's like $6 or $7.
Yeah, it used to be like a $5 grab and go type thing. Man. Yeah, inflation is crazy.
Inflation is crazy. That pizza's so bad they don't deserve to raise the price. Like, at that point, you doing them a favor by buying that motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm not gonna act like I don't. I don't eat it regularly now, but I for sure have had my fair share of Little Caesars.
But let's be real. Are you eating it for the price or are you eating it for the taste?
It doesn't taste great to me, but it's not like unbearable. So it's just.
You didn't answer my question. Are you eating it for the price or are you eating it for the taste?
What I'm saying is it's a little bit of both. Like, it's a $5 pizza, but it's also like.
Would you rather have a DiGiorno or a Little Caesars?
A DiGiorno? DiGiorno is obviously way better. Yeah, you throw that in the oven and
I'm just saying,
smack it down. Yeah,
I'm just saying because when it come down to pizza, like Hungry Howie's is fire. Mm-hmm. Hungry Howie's and what's another one? Pizzaville got some good pizzas too. They decent.
Pizzaville's solid. Yeah,
it's solid.
Yeah. I had Pizzaville. It was I don't know, like a few weeks ago. It was cool.
Was you had a pizza or the chicken and wings?
Pizza potatoes. And then some wedges.
Oh, wedges?
Yeah.
That shit been on point for years. I've been going there for I'm going there over 20 years. I haven't been there recently, but like I live around the corner from it. So
my favorite is if I would have to go like a go-to pizza in Bakersfield, it'd probably be Cataldo's.
Oh yeah, they good too.
Yeah, I like that.
They hella pizza. Good. But like what people don't realize though is too much cheese can ruin the pizza though. Mm-hmm. Because some places put too much goddamn cheese. And it's like, dog, I got to chew through 4 layers of cheese before I get to the fucking dough, man.
Yeah, you need a right ratio.
You trying to kill me? What the fuck?
That's a strange thing because some be like too saucy. And when you bite into it, the tomato sauce is like dripping out on the side and stuff like that. You need the proper proportions of everything. And some be like stupid greasy.
Yeah.
Be like turning.
Still old sexual ass pizza busting all over me. Trying to eat the pizza.
It's a dumb gushy.
Piece of juice busting all over me. Yeah, man. Another one that's a go-to is Blaze Pizza is decent too.
Blaze is good.
But it's different because it's not like, people wouldn't consider that pizza. Uh-huh. But it's like, to me, it's good because it's a personal, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, I didn't used to fuck with them, but Domino's stepped their game up recently.
Yeah, I like Domino's.
Cool.
I like Domino's. Domino's is a little salty, but
they is. They be trying to kill a nigga.
Yeah,
like, how am I supposed to come back and eat this if I'm dead? You motherfuckers made me a death pizza, all this goddamn salt on it. You gonna make a nigga's blood pressure go into another stratosphere.
Nah, they that new formula they got with the crust, like the seasonings on the crust and stuff, is definitely super salty.
All lives matter. That don't apply to Domino's.
Yeah,
because they don't matter to them. They gonna kill everybody with that pizza.
That's the best food experience, like a near-death experience.
Why?
That just keeps people coming back. Like,
almost died from that burger.
This pizza so far, a nigga almost died.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yo, one of the best burgers in town, or at least in Bakersfield to me, is at Ortega's. It used to be called Bravo's Burgers on Chester. but it's on. It's still on Chester, but it's just called Ortega's.
Yeah.
That shit is good as fuck. They make a big ass burger.
I tried it. I wasn't that impressed. I'm gonna be real.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't really messing with it.
Oh, this comes from the same nigga that eat Little Caesars. Don't trust shit Keith got to say about food, man.
Yeah, but I prefaced it letting you know like that's a college.
Man, Keith be eating hot dogs,
food.
yo.
Hot dogs is fire. I for sure pull up to Wiener
See what I'm
Schnitzel.
saying?
I'll pull up to Wiener Schnitzel, get the beef. Oh,
Damn.
God.
I farted, y'all. If you heard that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Keith.
You got to clear the air. But nah, yeah, Wiener Schnitzel for sure. I'll pull up, get the beef chili dog with the fries and the little strawberry lemonade. That's a decent meal right there. Yeah.
That's real. All right. Switching gears, y'all. The 10-year challenge. It seems like the 10-year challenge is popular once again. I scoured the internet to try to find the origin of it, and it just sent me all over the place. So I don't have a specific story to tell you where it came from. But it showed like Ryan Seacrest being one of the first people to pull it off. Honestly, I'll say this. Some people's 10-year challenges are pretty interesting because it's almost like they've aged backwards, some people, and it's like, wow, you look great. And then some people where that 10-year challenge is just a representation of what 10 years of drugs and alcohol can do to a person. Mm-hmm. Some of you motherfuckers are like, you damn near dead. Mm-hmm. Some people I went to high school with look like they 50.
Oh, man.
Like, what the fuck, man? You turned into Nick Nolte. Jeez. But yeah, the 10-year challenge too is, it's not a challenge. You just took a picture of yourself and put it next to one today. Mm-hmm. I think we use the word challenge too fucking loosely nowadays. Mm-hmm. There's no challenge about posting a photo.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not doing nothing.
You're not doing
It's
anything.
just a term, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is, I think it's one of those things where I don't see the point in most of that, especially when there's no improvement. Like you just kind of backslid. There was one girl I had seen, she posted the 10-year challenge, and she probably put on a good 50, 60 pounds.
She had
from
a 10-year chicken.
Yeah. But it was just like, you know, I would, you know, you got self-love is super important. So, you know, I respect that part of it. But for me personally, if I had gained that much weight, I might just like not, you know, I would skip the 10-year challenge personally. But some of the better ones that I had seen were people that were more so posting life progress.
That's dope. Yeah.
Like people that, you know, 10 years ago, they might have been working at Carl's Jr. and then, you know, 10 years later, they homeowners or something like
That's
that.
dope.
Those are the
that.
ones, that I
love
seen.
that.
It was some other ones that I seen where people just showing the progress of their career where, you know, like maybe an artist, like 10 years ago, they were on SoundCloud and now they selling out arenas or something like that. So those are the ones I appreciate. When you're just posting pictures, I don't get it, but I'm not necessarily knocking anybody that's, you know, just kind of like having fun on social media. But for me, I'm very like intentional with the way I move. So you probably won't see me posting no 10-year challenge. Even if I did post a 10-year challenge, it would probably be on my story, not on like my timeline for it to just live forever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As far as the 10-year challenge, I'm more consumed with where my life genuinely went in those 10 years than actually just a picture. Because I have grown in 10 years, which is a beautiful thing.
What are like some of the ways in which you've grown the most?
I've had a career change and made more money. I am not rich, but I have made more money significantly.
Yeah.
I have found my passion in life, which is podcasting. I have also ventured out in, you know, creating a brand for myself. It's been a process, and I have not completed that. So I tread lightly on that, but I'm venturing off into that. And I have many more things on my list, but it'll take me a while to get them out of my brain. But
yeah,
I have grown in 10 years, and I'm proud of that. Because to be stagnant for 10 years, that's, 10 years is a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, people say, oh, it goes by fast, but
for sure.
At the same time, man, if you haven't did shit in 10 years, nothing significant, you haven't taken any risk, that's another one. Taking a risk. Because when I went to get my CDL, I quit my job. I quit my job to get my CDL, and it left me with no plan B. So I had to be successful in trucking. Like, I had to make it in trucking, or I would have been fucked. So I do pride myself on that. But I have a whole lot of things I can do, and I'm still on track to become my higher self. But I'm not impressed with the fucking photo.
Yeah,
I haven't changed too much over 10 years. I'm still like this. I'm sure there's been some changes, but nothing too significant. I've seen some photos, and I was like, oh, it's not too much different.
Look pretty much the same.
Yeah, pretty much the same. No drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. It's kind of sad though when I do think about the majority of people that I knew. Like, so I graduated in 2010, but when you look at how people have progressed or changed over 10 years, and you communicate with some of these people and just check on them, see how they're doing and stuff like that, and you realize that a lot of them aren't doing much with their lives, or same conversations that they had in 2011 or 2012 or whatever when they were talking about doing certain things they just still haven't done them. And it's so sad to me. And I think that's part of the reason why I kind of made a promise to myself to do any and everything and to really accomplish these things. Because I think the worst person on earth is a person that's just a talker. Yeah. It's just, talking about what they're going to do, or, like, oh, I got this idea. We're going to get this cracking in 2022, and I'm going to make sure this happens. And it's just like, you see that so much, you get exhausted.
You talked yourself out of it, man.
Yeah. Even my, one of my boys, Blue, the one that directs a lot of the music videos, when people approach him about like music videos, I can tell if he's intrigued, or I can tell if he knows if the person is actually going to do it or not, just by his reaction. His reaction is always the same, but he's in a position to where, like, he understands that a lot of people talk. So he understands that people will call him up like, hey, man, when we going to shoot? Like, I got this budget right here. And then he knows that oftentimes, like, it never materializes. So he's always like, all right, man, just, like, shoot me a text or shoot me the money, and we could figure something out. So, he's just in a position to where, he knows that the majority of people that are...
Yeah, they're going to fucking fizzle out.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's just an unfortunate thing where you start to see, like, the challenge is cute on the surface, but when you really do a deep dive into it, you realize that these people are just, like, stale.
Yeah. But what I want people to do is do a 10-year assessment off of social media and ask yourself, what have you gotten significantly better at in 10 years? Just take a moment to ask yourself, have you made significantly more money? Have you done anything financially? Have you lost weight? Have you had a good relationship? Are you still an alcoholic? If you have these problems, you fucking up. Because the next 10 years is going to be fucked up. And now you're going to be too old. And that's going to be, you're still not going to be too old, but you're going to be old. You're going to be too old to be a failure.
You're going to be in a different era in your life.
Yeah.
And you can't, the older you get, the less opportunity you have to fail. Like,
yes.
We're at a point now in both of our lives where this podcast has to work because we've invested so much time into it. Yeah. And we're not 18, 19 years old no more.
100%. We're grown men.
Yeah.
Keith is going on 30. I'm going on 37 years old.
That's wild.
In March. So it's like we don't have time to be investing in things. And by the way, we actually love doing this, but like he just said, me and Keith are both grown men. So to openly invest yourself in something that you don't see the foresight of it growing, that's a waste of everyone's time.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will invest in things and people that don't grow them, and they just keep going back to it. It's like, man, what the fuck are you? You're not afraid to waste time? We're all going to die someday. I hope you realize that. And then when you die, you're going to look back at your life and be like, fuck, I didn't do shit with myself. That's got to suck. If you have any form of consciousness after you die, and imagine there's this big screen that shows your whole life from the time you were born all the way to when you die, and it just says the word shit across it because you didn't do shit. That's got to be fucked up.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear. One of the fears that I have too is like, which kind of brings like a slight form of like anxiety to me, is the fact that I have a lot of ideas, and I know that every day there's somebody out there that may have a similar idea that is in a different position or a better position to execute some of the ideas. So even like, I remember years ago, I was talking to my brother and I was like, man, like I was humming this song and I couldn't, like, I had this melody in my head and I couldn't figure out where it came from or like what song it was. And I was trying to ask him like, yo, do you know what this melody is from? And he couldn't figure it out either. And it was just stuck in my head, and it was like basically like weighing on me. And fast forward to last year or the year before, that Google has the melody recognition,
the app,
where you can hum a thing. And I had that same conversation with my brother. So it's just like I see those things happening around me, and I'm like, yo, I have to, be on the ball so I can start executing these ideas.
Me and you have had conversations, and I've brought up something, and we've brought up something as a collaborative, and the shit came to fruition, but it was someone else's idea. And I'm talking about we were years ahead of them.
Yeah.
2+ years ahead of these people with these ideas. I had an idea. Well, I won't go through the whole thing, but I had an idea for Netflix to have a Netflix theater, to have like a flagship theater in Los Angeles, and like the movies that go straight to Netflix are obviously made, like Bird Box or certain major movies. You could go and bring your membership to Netflix theater and get in, either for a discounted price or for free. You know what I mean? And then inside of the Netflix theater, you got a real bar and grill. You got a real setup in there. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
That would take Netflix to the next level, is actually having a place where you could reach out and touch the people that have been subscribing to you for years.
Yeah.
You don't want to become this this outside thing like Amazon. Like Amazon, bro, they about business. Straight business.
Yeah, that's all they care about.
Amazon is a hit it and quit it. Amazon the type of person that'll fuck you and not text you the next day. Shout out to Jeff Bezos, yo.
Nah, Amazon, they hit it and then they won't text you the next day. And then 4 months later, they gonna send you the little eyes.
Like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, because that's how they be sending those, like, hey, you haven't been on Amazon whatever in a while. Like, you ran out of these a while back. You should try to get these now.
Yeah, they giving you suggestions. Nigga, leave me alone. I'm not trying to spend money right now. How about that? Leave me the fuck alone,
I can't
Amazon.
afford it. That's
You're
why I
not
haven't
using
bought
your...
it.
Well, you ever get that one? You're not fully using your Prime benefit to the best. It's like, what do you mean I'm not using my Prime benefit?
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you, robot?
They for sure want you to spend money. Even with the Alexa, it'll send you like voice notifications like, hey, I suggest that you buy this right now. It's been like 3 weeks since you've bought rice, whatever the case may be. And you'd be like, dog, like why are you in my business?
I suggest you buy this 8-inch dildo.
You haven't had dick in a while. You should buy a dildo. Taekwon is not hitting it from the back anymore.
You should try the one with the veins. Oh, man.
That's wild.
Oh, man.
Crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I forgot what the fuck we was talking about for a second. Yeah, the 10-year challenge. Yeah, I think that we should become a little less obsessed with these challenges on social media and a little more obsessed with moving the needle in our own lives. And I'm not trying to take the fun away from people, so don't take me as this grumpy dude on a podcast telling you what to do. All I'm saying is, imagine if you lived in a world that was equally enthusiastic with their own lives as the shit that they post on social media. Because you can post whatever you want, that's fine. But if your life is not really moving, then it doesn't mean anything. You could post all these. You know what's crazy too? People will think you have an amazing life just because of what you post. You could be failing, you could be broke, you could be miserable, you could have nothing, but you could stand next to a Mercedes-Benz and take a picture of it, and they'll think that's your car.
That's so wild to me.
It's so wild, man. And it's like you could be broke and not have no money, but you live near the beach, so you could walk out to the beach and take a picture of you holding a drink, and now they think you got money.
Or, man, that Drake line was so powerful, where he was saying, like, the girl would go on vacation and then take a bunch of pictures and then post them 6 months later, 7 months later, and make it look like they still on vacation, or they are on vacation then. They just switch the outfit, switch the bikini, and take certain pictures. It's like, I think what I wish that the consumer of content would realize that it's just content. It's not real life. Like, I don't really post about my life on social media, but I would hope people would realize, like, that's because I understand what social media is for. It's for posting content, and it's not even there's certain versions of
that's a little subjective though.
What?
That's kind of subjective.
What you mean?
Like, you saying it's just for that.
Not that it's not for people to post their personal life, but I'm saying that the core idea of how we view or how we actually operate on social media is just content.
That's
so
true.
Even if it's somebody posting their personal life, it's still content because they're not posting when they're arguing with their husband.
That's a fact.
They're not posting when they're
it's not nuanced enough to take it as something different.
It's not your real life. It's
100%.
a version of what you want to share with people, which is, in my opinion, content.
Highlights.
Yeah, so but I just wish that the average person would see that. So when you see whatever rapper pulling up in a Wraith or whatever, you realize that that's probably rented, or that's probably somebody else's car, or that's just the car that they rented for the music video or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's one of my biggest turnoffs though. Like, just like if I'm dealing with a chick and let's say it's something serious, if she pulls out her phone and let's say we at lunch or something and she wants to take a photo, I'll be like, no, that ain't happening.
With you?
Yeah, just in general. I don't want you taking no pictures of me or us or nothing. Let's give that time. Because what happens, this is what a lot of, I won't say women are conditioned, but I notice this mainly with women, is they'll get with a dude, they'll start posting pictures, and then you finally start to figure out who each other is. And at that moment, you've evaluated that you may not like each other or it's not going to work. And then once you guys go the other way, now she's taking photos off of social media.
Yeah.
So now I've become another object that social media has seen that didn't work out. You know, I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
but,
I understand.
So my thing is I like that to me is just, that's too much.
Yeah.
So I would not want to be like that. Like, it's just too much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are conditioned to post these things.
Yeah.
And then like all the time, like every time is not going to be good. Mm-hmm. So you can't post a bunch of highlights. I see people that have these couples pages or whether it's YouTubes or whatever. That's fine and dandy. But like when everything is a highlight, we know that shit's not real.
Yeah, it's not.
That's not real. I know you probably got through cursing each other out. Now, that's actually putting a strain on your relationship because you're
hold
not
up this appearance.
Yeah, you got to uphold this appearance. So you could be yelling and screaming, calling your wife bitches and shit, and then now you got to do another YouTube video.
Yeah,
and it's like, damn, like that shit.
Yeah. Sometimes too, what you see with the YouTube relationship pages is you get a glimpse of how they treat each other during some of those challenges or those like pranks.
Yeah, like
it could be a prank where somebody is like cheating on somebody else, or somebody like, I don't know, it's just like whatever the most like craziest prank to get a reaction out of there.
YouTube algorithm.
And then the partner or the boyfriend or the girlfriend be flipping out and like throwing stuff and cussing, and then they be like, it's just a prank, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's their real relationship. That's probably how this person is reacting behind closed doors when they're not throwing on their YouTube vlog personality. So, yeah. I think for me, like, I probably, when I think about, like, social media, like, I don't post too much of my personal life. And I probably never would, but I think maybe if I did post something, like, in my personal life, it might be, like, a wedding photo or something like that.
You barely post your music, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta start posting more of your shit, dude.
I'm trying, man. That's my goal. I have a legit, like, I wrote it down and stuff. Like, I have a goal of, like, that's why this is the most consistent I've ever been with, like, you know, making, like, content. So,
I told you that the other day, too. I think I did.
Yeah. I appreciate it, too.
Yeah, I told you. That's another thing. And this is left field, but, like, if you know somebody and they've either gotten better at something or they're good at something, like, don't hold back and not tell them that. Because sometimes people need to hear that. And I'm saying not being fake. Like, don't tell them that because you think they need to hear it. But like, if you really feeling something they doing, please tell them.
Yeah, don't put no fire emojis under nothing just because it's your friend. That's what I hate the most. It got to be authentic. If not, just don't if you don't like it, just don't say anything.
Don't say anything, and it's not hating or nothing. Just leave it alone. And here's the thing: if they have something that's decent and you put the fire emoji, that's cool. But if they don't say shit.
Yeah, just keep it pushing.
And more than likely, the artist might come to you like, "Hey, man, like, I need some honest critique." You know, what do you like?
Messing with this, yeah,
because then it's harder for the artist to grow when no one's telling them the truth.
Yeah, you're kind of in this echo chamber. I think some people for sure have like a good palate, like they know if something is good or not. But sometimes it's people that be putting out music that's not that great or content that's not that great, and they have this overvalued idea of like themselves. Or what they're doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, your affirmation is like the world, So if you're putting out something that's not getting no traction, then it might be time to switch it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think what happens is you're going to get some form of traction if you're putting out content that's pretty decent, regardless of what it is. Me and Keith got some traction. We seen those numbers go boom, they're shooting up. Like the numbers got really good. Yeah. They have times where they go down, they go up, they go down, but me and Keith don't waver. But we understand that people invest in podcasts and that sometimes they listen or they listen in spurts. There's no way to control that. But when you've gotten the feel from the audience, knowing that they listen to you, that's a huge fucking deal, man.
No, for sure. That's the thing, like what I've realized, like I'm more scientific with my approach these days. I realize it's easy and difficult at the same time. The hard part is being good. That's the part that's going to take some work. That's the part where you got to put in the 10,000 hours. But the easy part is the consistency and the content. So, if you're good at making music and you're putting out a lot of music, then people are going to find it somehow. Whether you're, marketing it on TikTok or you're, paying for ads on Instagram and Facebook, paying for ads on TikTok, paying for ads on YouTube, people are going to find it if it's good.
Right.
And that's just the power of the internet. And just over the past week or so, I may have had 20 people message me saying yo, I heard your song here. I just randomly stumbled across your song. There was even a guy in he was in Russia or something, and he was DJing and playing my song on the thing. And then he messaged me, and he was already I don't even know how he got the download. He might have ripped it off of YouTube or something. But I just sent him what they call a DJ pack with the instrumental and the vocals and stuff like that, and he was just mixing and scratching and stuff like that. So it's just put the content out there. If you good, and it's not even talking about just content. Put whatever you got out there, whether it's a clothing line or food or cookies, whatever the case may be. Just put it out there, and the world will tell you if something is good or not. But sometimes the world can lie to you.
Yes, they can.
Sometimes the world is just not ready for, because we've seen I guess the closest artist that we have a relationship with, not really a relationship, but Blast, right? He been making good music for 3-4 years now, and it only took him until 2021 where he really, really popped off. Yeah. But it was just a matter of time. So I would say the world wasn't necessarily being honest with how talented he was. But now,
no, because they're not. Here's the thing: the way the world looks at you is they don't believe in you until you make it, and then when you do make it, they'll be like, "I've been listening to Blast since he first came out, and he had that very first song in his basement. I've been listening to him since then." And it's no, you didn't, bitch. Okay, you didn't listen to me back then.
Yeah,
and I'm not mad at you. But truth be told, most people don't believe in you until you make it. Yeah. So you have to overcome that. You have to overcome that hurdle as a content creator. Yeah. That's just the reality of it. The people that listen to us, they love the conversation. They actually believe in the content we put out, and we appreciate you. And we don't speak badly on anyone who may find this podcast as a new podcast or whatever. But truth be told, some people will listen to you, love it, and still tune out because they're like, oh, this podcast ain't going nowhere.
And when people are too close, it's hard for them to really grasp it.
Right.
So as many DJs as I know in Bakersfield, like no one has ever like made a video of them like scratching my song, right? So when there's somebody in whatever country across the globe, they're just completely objective because all they're listening for is quality. Like they don't have a personal relationship with anybody. So like there was one girl, she posted on her story. It was like a blast. It might have been like Chosen or something. And then the next song, it was like my song. And I was like, that's not to compare myself to Blast, but I'm saying like all they're listening for is like, is it good or is it not? Because they don't have no real relationships with anybody. But if you're in Bakersfield and you're listening to this podcast, you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, you know, I respect y'all podcast. But they're more willing to acknowledge somebody or listen to somebody that they're not actually that they don't have a relationship with.
100%. Mm-hmm. By the way, I didn't use the B word towards women. Just giving a preface and just giving a heads up there.
But if you did, you know,
I didn't.
It's fine. It's cool.
I didn't do that.
It's cool.
No, but yeah, there's that, man. Mm-hmm. Not a whole lot else to say.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and move.
That's it. I mean. That would be like, you know, we kind of like changed the idea of the 10-year challenge, but that would be cool to see like your skill set 10 years from now.
It better be fine.
Huh?
It better be very refined, very good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're an artist, like and I've seen this a couple times, but post a picture that you drew in 2012 and then post a picture that you drew in 2022.
Yeah.
And see like, you know, have you refined your skills? If you're a photographer, like post a picture that you did that long ago and then post one that you did now.
All those hours and hours if you're invested and you love what you do, they naturally will make you better. You will reach your natural potential. You will reach it based on the fact that you put in. Me and Keith got over 16,000 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably like 16,000 at this point. 16,000+ hours of content from the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we can have a conversation without fumbling over our words.
Yeah.
You know, and we could have this whole conversation with no dead air. Think about this as a skill. Let's say this.
Only dead air is coming out of your ass.
Oh, yeah, I farted loud earlier, man. That was bad. Yeah, man, I'm coming off this cold, and somehow I got gas.
That's a wild cold.
Like all the elements were working against me. My gassy stomach, my sick body and shit.
That's hilarious.
And I still showed up for episode 200, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no excuses for me, man. I don't care if I shit my pants. I'm still going to do this podcast.
You almost did once.
Oh, one time I almost did.
Yeah.
My stomach was so nuclear that day. I feel like I had I feel like I had Hiroshima in my stomach.
There was somebody selling farts as NFTs. You seen that?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
if they doing that, farts. I'm over here wasting my farts on the fucking podcast.
You could be rich.
I could be rich.
I finally bought my NFT.
I think I seen that. The Steph Curry.
Yeah,
that shit was up there. That shit was like 800, huh?
It was like 500.
Oh wow,
something. But
that's not normal now.
I still don't know what I'm doing. Like it's to do that whole process took me so long, and I still am not very familiar with it. But it was on sale, so I ended up buying it. But yeah, I have like because you have a wallet, but you have to invest in the Ethereum, and then you have to use the Ethereum to pay for the NFTs. So you have to like purchase the Ethereum, and then you have to use the Ethereum to purchase the NFT, and it's a whole process.
I think that a lot of this stuff is in place to discourage the casual investor.
Oh, for sure. If I was a regular dude, if I wasn't a psychopath, I would have gave up a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's to discourage the average just investor, the one that says, "I got $10,000, I want to invest."
Yeah.
You know, they kind of like, hey, you're gonna have to go through this fucking rabbit hole before you get this NFT, motherfucker.
And it's a thing to where there's no returns on anything, right? So say because you have to use like what they call addresses to transfer things and transfer money and stuff like that. So if I transferred money, say I was going to give you, maybe you purchased something with, or you traded me an NFT, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And you have an address to your wallet. If I put one wrong number in there, whatever the case may be, and then I send that, it's gone forever. There's no way that you could get it back. So it's kind of like it's so many stakes. Like that. There was a article a while back with a guy that had some Bitcoin, and he lost his I think he lost his address or his wallet or something, and like
he had like a lot of money in Bitcoin, like a couple million or something.
Yeah, and if you don't have that address or that login, because I think even the password, like you can't. It's just money.
That's why when you invest in something, you have to believe in what you're doing.
Oh shoot.
You shouldn't be making moves out here in the world and not believe in what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Like this podcast, like me and Keith keep tabs on the analytics and things of that nature, where the analytics are coming from, what city and state they're coming from. Mm-hmm. Like these things matter. When you just do a podcast and you don't care at all, like how do you expect to go anywhere?
Yeah.
Me and Keith have our moments where we're like, fuck, like numbers ain't great right now. Then they jump up crazy again. But at the same time, man, you have to stay in the game. That's probably the most important thing. They talked to Gary Vee about NFTs recently. Mm-hmm. And he said, like, so a person that's got $500 right now and they want to invest in NFT, how do they do it? He's like, right now, the NFTs are fucking expensive right now. So it's going to be really hard to do it. But what they can end up doing is going and investing in something else. And then you could do this. And then you could just go full throttle on that. And then wait till they come back. And then eat blueberries and figure it out. I love Gary Vee, but that guy loves to hear himself talk too much.
Yeah,
I love Gary, man.
It. Yeah.
And I would love to have a conversation with him, but I kind of wouldn't, because I know that conversation would be very one-sided. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Gary doesn't listen. Even Charlamagne had an interview with him, and he says, Gary, are you still not listening to people when they talk?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's just a really bad habit.
Yeah. I could only imagine like being in a relationship with him. Like his wife is probably pulling her hair out.
Oh, his wife is probably losing her mind. He's like, all right, I'm going to eat your pussy right now. Don't you lift your legs back? But you didn't please me last time.
If we turn your NFT, if we turn your pussy into an NFT, and just push it to the maximum, content, pussy.
I'm gonna put your leg right here. Put a blueberry in there. Hey, if you guys don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, go look him up. And this whole little thing we're saying will be a whole lot fucking funnier.
No, Gary Vee is comedy.
Gary Vee is hilarious. Mm-hmm. And what the way he listens to people is hilarious too. He'll have like a 19-year-old, because he's been known for speaking to the youth a lot. Mm. Sometimes he gives amazing like feedback, but a lot of times it's just trash. It's like it's like a one-stop shop for information that's not always the best. Mm-hmm. He'll be like, okay, and the kid will be nervous. They'll be like, okay, Gary, I'm 19, and like my parents. Wait, stop right there. Your parents? What are they doing to you? Well, they want me to go to college. Fuck your parents. First of all, do what you want. Do you want to go to college, or do you want to be an entrepreneur? I want to be an entrepreneur. Well, stop right there. First of all, content. And gratitude. Thank you. Next person. You like, damn. Gary didn't give them shit.
Gary Vee need a Bible.
Yeah. But the same fucking words all the way to the front and the back. Comedy. Chapter 120 and still be like, content.
That'd be hilarious. One thing that I will say is that I think that people trying to move in any capacity, you have to start treating whatever you're doing like a business, right?
Yes.
So just being like extremely intentional with what you got going on. Like, so for example, I was shooting some content for this record label, and they were in a meeting, and this is what I do, like, for people who I guess who are out there. Like what you really should do in any scenario, especially the positions that I'm in, because I'm around like certain artists, I'm around record labels, I'm around musicians and stuff like that.
Right.
You have to just be a fly on the wall and listen to everything everybody is saying. So basically I'm in this meeting and they're doing this whole rollout. Like they're having a meeting and they know when certain things are going to be posted on Instagram. So they're like 7 days before the single comes out, this photo is coming out. 6 days, this photo is coming out. we're going to fly out to this place and we're going to have a pop-up shop here. So it's broken down like to a T. And that made me realize, and I had already known it before, but that made me realize more so like, yo, whatever you doing, you have to treat it as like it's a LLC. Maybe if it's not an LLC yet, but you got to treat it like it's an LLC. Like you got to pay taxes every quarter. Even if you're just making skits on Instagram, you got to realize like, okay, you know, even write it down if you need to. Like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to post a new skit every day. On Tuesday, I'm probably going to shoot 3 or 4 skits, get them knocked out, get them edited, and then even they have the Instagram business manager or whatever where you can schedule your posts. So you get those things knocked out, put them in there, schedule them for whatever day at whatever time that is the most traffic. Like you just have to be that researched in order to make it now, because it's a lot of noise. It's a lot of noise out here.
In regards to NFTs, this is just a random conversation. In regards to NFTs, how involved is the IRS in that? Do they have any involvement yet, or they're not involved in it?
I believe the only involvement they have is when you're selling anything, they're gonna you're making profit and you're getting money off of it. You'll probably get like a 1099 from whatever application.
What I'm wondering, there has to be a loophole.
I think they actually have a government like Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken. I think because when you look on there, it's like Bitcoin, it's Ethereum, it's Dogecoin, it's like you could buy any of it. I believe the government has one. I might be tripping though.
What I'm wondering is if there's like a gray area where you can sell something, but you can sell it in like an offshore account. And you can motherfucking cash out in like Brazil or something.
I mean, it's probably possible because what they do also, sometimes it's not like really a connection to, like, even the person that started Bitcoin.
Right.
We don't know who it is. You know what I mean?
That's the beautiful thing about it. So it's harder to track.
Yeah.
I think that this is another outlet for a lot of extremely wealthy people to protect their assets.
Oh, yeah.
Because the way that inflation's going and all this other shit, and then the IRS is taxing you and it's taxes on everything, it's like it puts you in a position where it's harder to become successful as a regular human being. In order to become successful as a regular human being, you got to work a lot just to make a decent living. And it's becoming more unattainable for the average American. So the long-term objective is to work less and live off the fruits of your previous labor.
Yeah,
I feel like if you invested in NFTs or you invested in the stock market or whatever, it's like, fuck that job. Don't go to that job anymore. Find a way to invest that money, maybe in rental properties or whatever else, and live off that, man. It is an outdated business practice to work hard, especially when you don't own the fucking business. Like, and look, I'm not shitting on anybody that's a hard worker at all, but I do my job. There's a difference between doing your job. Like, I do my job, and I do my job at a decent level. I do what's asked of me at my job. But I'm not willing to go above and super beyond this and that when I don't own the company. There's a difference. Like, I'm willing to work and do the job at a high level. But some people go above and beyond and they work at Wendy's. And they're not getting any extra money for it, nothing. Dude, you have to find a way to make enough money and get out of it's an old played out game.
Yeah, for sure. Coming down to like, like that, what like I was saying earlier, like treat everything like a business. Sometimes you got to treat your job or the money
I'm charging for sex now. Fuck that shit.
There you go. Sex is a business too.
Yeah.
But like,
you want this NFT?
It is NFD. But if you work, like, there's a lot of people working at Amazon out here in Bakersfield now. Figure out how much your bills cost, and then figure out how much money you're making, and then figure out, like, with that extra money you have, how you can get out of the rat race. So that may be saving up to buy an NFT. That may be, saving up to invest in stocks and stuff like that. Or putting, my girl's dad was telling me that at one point he would buy an Apple stock pretty much every time he got paid. Like once a month he would buy Apple stock, and the next thing you know, he had like 50 or 60 Apple stocks, and he moved them around since then. But it's just, it really is, it's being intentional and being consistent with the way you move out here. And it's just a little bit every day. You would just, you see, like, you'll be surprised how much growth you'd have in reference to a 10-year challenge, or in reference to maybe 6 months, if you just were consistent and intentional with how you were moving your money around.
100%, man.
Yeah.
100%. Let's see. Switching gears. Recently, I sent this. I haven't found any good articles on this. So this has been all over the place, but Earn Your Leisure is it's like a financial podcast. Mm-hmm. And they talked about like venture capital, or like venture capital companies, I guess, are investing in content creators such as podcasters, YouTubers, and all types of other content creators. I think TikTokers too.
Yeah.
And basically what they're doing is they're finding these content creators and they're investing in that actual content. So for example, there's a content creator. She got $1.7 million from this company. But what they get in return is they get a piece of her content after so long. I forgot exactly how long it is. Mm-hmm. But what it's saying is that content is king.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing about a lot of people is these venture capital companies are going to be taking advantage of a lot of content creators. Mm-hmm. So if your shit's moving like on its own and you're getting numbers without them, but let's say me and Keith, right? Let's say
we're probably like the perfect candidates
exactly
for this type of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's say within the next year our numbers are going crazy, and they say, hey, we see your guys' content, we love you guys, we want to give you guys $2.5 million right now, but we would need it'd be some crazy number. We need 43% in this. You'd be like, man, get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. Like
some people, a smart person would say that.
Say what? Yeah, a smart person would say, get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. Like my thing is, I'm willing to go through the struggle of being a content creator and a worker, and not to mention, I would gladly turn that $2.5 million down. A lot of people would say, Eddie, you're full of shit. You would totally get the money. No, I would not. And me and Keith as a collaborative would not take the money because we've seen too many music artists being taken advantage of with these fucked up deals. Yeah. And what's these other one? These perpetuity deals.
Yeah.
So it's like, we own this much in perpetuity.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, motherfucker, you shouldn't own nothing.
Yeah, man. You realize, like, I watched so many interviews and read articles and watched people communicate that's independent artists, people that communicate that are in, even good deals, bad deals, whatever. And you see it so often. I was watching this, it was like a mini 6-minute documentary with the artist Brent Faiyaz, and he was talking about how he had the one song, I forget the name of the song, but he was on the hook of the song. He's like, I see money all around me, and like I'm the man. I can't think of the name of the song, but he was on the hook of that song, and then after that, like, he was going crazy. Like, everybody in the country wanted to offer him a deal, and then basically what he was saying is the same thing that Eddie was saying. Like, they offered him a $250,000 advance, but he was only getting like 15% on
that's ridiculous.
Like every song or every dollar.
It's my shit.
Yeah, and that's when he was like, "Nah, I'm turning this down." And he was super transparent with his numbers, and he was like, "Excuse me," he was saying like, "I spend," he's like, "I got this amount of money, monthly listeners. I make, it was like $28,000 from streaming every month." Wow. With the analytics that I find on those streaming platforms, I use that to pick my shows and the locations for my shows.
That's smart.
In the locations where I'm having my shows, I spend $20 a day to run ads in those locations to, sell more tickets to those shows. And it's just like a whole like cyclical thing that he has. And he's obviously not touching $250,000 in one whop.
But he's doing fucking great.
Yeah, but he could definitely get to that, and he's owning all of his music. Yeah. He's not having to bust it down with a record label where they're giving him a crazy split. Yeah. So the same with these content creators. It's like if you are smart and you're patient and you play the long game, it's going to be much more beneficial because you got to think like there are content creators out here, especially on TikTok that was on TikTok maybe a year ago or before the pandemic, and they had already kind of grown a following. They eating good now. They just released the numbers where certain TikTok people was making like $5 million a year, $10 million a year, and stuff like that, and that's just off of sponsored posts and stuff like that.
I just sent Keith one yesterday.
What?
That dude that had that song that's real popular on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And I don't understand, baby, why I can't breathe. I can't really sing that, but it's the "Breathe for Me" song.
Yeah,
Breathe
That's the first time I had heard it, but that song is fire.
Yeah, but it's fucking massive on TikTok, and that guy amassed a crazy audience.
Yeah,
and a lot of artists are eating off TikTok. It's become the new SoundCloud, except better.
Yeah,
and more personal.
And you see visuals of people.
So I think TikTok is probably one of the dopest apps, dog. Like, just based on that it's real people doing real shit. Yeah, some clown shit on there, but if you have a decent algorithm and you don't look at trash, you won't get trash too often.
It's the best app because it has everything that you would want as a consumer of content. So if you're just a horny person and you just want to follow girls doing, just the little booty challenges and all that, like, it's on there, they're going to steer you to they OnlyFans page and all the other stuff, and you're going to be super satisfied. But if you're a person that is, like, on there to consume, like, information about NFTs or stocks or...
Right, you get that.
Podcasts, whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to get that in abundance. And it's going to be people on there that's, like, giving away just, like, no pun intended, $1 million worth of game.
Yeah.
Like, super valuable content. There's, like, people on there, they'd be like, hey, there was a guy on there. He was like, hey, guys, I produced this song for Kanye West. What I'm going to do for, all of my followers out there, I'm going to do this challenge. If you remix my song, I'll, help you produce your next track and I'll send you $300 or something. And it's just like, if that, on no other platform are people doing that.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So you're touching people that are like, in super high places, and they just on there, just chopping it up with different people. So
TikTok is dope. Charlamagne was talking about, I ain't got no damn TikTok or whatever. And they said, you need to create a TikTok. You got over like 40 million impressions or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he was like, nah, I'm on there without using it. And what Charlamagne don't realize is I think that's where he could thrive.
Mm-hmm. He's in a position where he doesn't even have to make the content, though.
No, it's already up.
Yeah. It's just like if he, does he have a page?
No.
Oh, does the show have a page?
I think the show has one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, that's pretty, it's still him, technically, it's a show. But yeah, if he just had somebody create content for him, like, that's what I was, part of that record label that I was working with, they have, like, content creators that are, people that are designing and, helping their artists with, making TikToks and creative ideas and stuff like that. So, yeah, content is king, man. Like, if you even, like, whatever it is, like, if you just like to talk to a camera, if you do that 5 times a week, the TikTok algorithm is going to be very favorable to you.
Yeah.
You might have something
content
viral.
is king, dude. A lot of people are listening to podcasts. They may be at work. They may be, obviously, like I mentioned, like in transit. But it's also they listen for information. And if you're a person that happens to have information and you give that to people, they'll come back because now they know something that they didn't. So if you're just a podcast that talks about nothing, like if it's a comedic type podcast, that's fine. You can still gain an audience from that. But when you are actually giving people something that they can use, that is when they come back.
Yeah, there's value in that. Then you can sell something off the back of that.
True.
There are people, they have it down packed where it's like, hey guys, if you want to be, so I'll just speak about my personal algorithms, what they look like. There's a guy that's like, hey, if you want to get your song in movies, you have to do this, make sure you have a clean version of your song, make sure you own the rights to this, make sure you own the rights to that, blah, 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 blah. And then they'll be like, hit the link in the bio if you want to know more information. So it's like, dang, you already gave me like 80% of it, but if I did need that extra 20% to get me over the hump or to put me in touch with people that I need to know, then it's like I would spend the $10, $15 for
The only issue with that, and it's not really an issue, it's great that information is given, but sometimes that information can be antiquated. Mm-hmm. And what happens is you'll be paying for something that you don't even fucking need. You know, it's like as the internet continues to evolve, so does business practices. And the same business practices that took you to go through these back doors and sign this and have this legal and this legal,
moving so
they
fast.
shrunk it down so much to get to the consumers and the actual content creators faster.
Yeah.
Because if you're making a content creator jump through hoops and he's popular, he could, if he knows he could jump through less hoops with someone else, he's gonna be like, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, there's that. If you're a content creator yourself and you see your content taking off, remember this conversation and don't let nobody buy your shit.
Yeah.
Not even buy your shit, excuse me. Don't let somebody offer you a number of money you've never had and you get weak for it. Because what's going to happen is they're going to offer you that money, but then they're going to end up owning your shit and you're going to end up owing them money. So you took $1.7 million back, but you got to pay that back with interest. So we're talking close to $3 million you got to pay back.
Yeah, it's a cold game, but it's a business that takes advantage of creators.
It's not.
When I actually think about it though, I don't know if I have the opinion of something being right or not, because we're not in 1990 no more. Like it's somebody coming out every single day. Like, yeah, this is Big Sean, YG, Kanye West, Drake. Like every artist has had some sort of gripe about how their record deal has played out. So I don't feel sorry for artists no more is what I'm saying. Like if you sign in them deals and you're not getting nobody to look over it, then that's a tough loss.
YG said he didn't get no check from from music.
Yeah, he said he sold 20-some million records and he never touched no money from none of his music.
That's crazy.
But it's a you get that advance, and then the way the contracts are designed for you to kind of stay in the hole because they're giving you more and more money, and if you're not recouping that money, they're just pushing that to the next album, and then it just keeps stacking up. So basically, you have this huge loan that you haven't been able to pay back because you're not selling enough records. You know what's fucked up too is like not only do you have the record labels that are fucking you, but then you got taxes on top of that. Yeah. So if you get a they're not giving you way over $1 million especially as a new artist. Yeah. You might get around that, or maybe like $850 or something like that. You got to be moving. If you want to get like $1 million, you got to be super viral. Yeah. You got to be super. Yeah. Cuz like with I really love the way Blast and Vic are moving. Yeah. I think that's really dope how they're moving, man. And Vic is somebody that I would love to have a conversation with. He's very smart. If you don't know who Vic is, that's genius. Blast, the artist Blast. That's his manager. Yeah. Go watch the episode with this Vic the Ruler and Bootleg Kev. Great fucking conversation. Yeah, yeah. Great conversation. Lots of game in there. And the guy's younger than me. He's probably only maybe 29. So young dude, but very smart. But he's from the hood. He's from the streets. So here's the thing with Vic. You can't play him on some street shit because he's from the streets. And you can't play him on the business stuff because he's got 2 degrees. So he's a guy you just not. I think he got 3. So I think he might have 3 degrees. So you're not gonna get over on this guy. Yeah. He's probably one of those guys where school was easy for him. Yeah, it probably was easy for him, and I think he also had a natural curiosity. Yeah, which kind of made it a lot easier for him. Because I think a lot of times with people that are, especially people from urban communities. Yeah. And I don't even like that terminology, but just people from our walk of life often don't find subject matters interesting. No. So they kind of tune out. And I think he seems like the type of person that he probably knew what he wanted to do for a very long time. Yeah, but you'll be definitely interested when the IRS is up your ass and you got an advance that you got to pay back. Late. It's too late by that point. So if you make yourself and you force yourself to be interested, I think you can make artists interested if you sit 20 or 30 of them down in a room and you say this artist here, this artist here, this artist here, and then you take a picture from them when they was rolling. And he said, but look at him now. I just seen him homeless over there on La Cienega Boulevard, sleeping on the corner. Yeah. And they'll be like, God damn. I just seen this guy off of this street homeless, and he was a rapper in the 80s. This guy was a rapper in the 90s, but now he's in prison. This guy's here. And it's like, if you want your story to end like these guys, then keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. Like the shit you see with Lil Pump and all these other people, like that shit is a facade, man.
If you want real wealth, you can't move like that. Throwing money in your videos, that's not real money. Real money is like, you could be the type of dude, you might have, $8-9 million, but in NFTs, you got 40 million. Mm-hmm. Like shit like that. Mm-hmm. That's real money.
Yeah.
Like if I literally got, and this is God honest truth, if I had $4 million tomorrow, I would realize how little bit of money that is.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I've realized, like, the more money I make, the more I realize, like, I could blow through this so fast.
Oh, fuck yeah. You could blow through $4 million in a year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you have no not even recollection, if you have no idea of how little bit of $4 million is, what I would do, first of all, is not tell anyone. Mm-hmm. Maybe Keith and maybe another few people would know that I had $4 million.
Yeah.
That's the number one. The number one way you save money is allow people to keep thinking you regular.
Because niggas will be contacting you trying to get some sort of money out you.
I know you rolling, Ed. I know you out here rolling, bro. I got a business out here, and I'm trying to start my barbecue business.
Yeah.
I would only need like 12,000 is all I would need. Mm-hmm. It's like, man, if you don't get the fuck out my inbox.
yeah, for sure.
And it'd be some super hot chick. Ha ha, LOL. You're so funny, Eddie. We should really hang out sometime. Like why?
Rory and Ma, they were talking on their podcast, and they had, I wouldn't call it a double date, but they was hanging with these females. And Rory had said that the female that he was with had texted the female that Maul was with and basically said, like, yo, Maul is dope. Like, he also just touched $7 million or something like that. So that definitely be happening. Like, when your business get out there on whatever outlets, and your net worth is out there in the world, like, it's inevitable.
Yeah, that's like, imagine like people like me and Keith, like we could literally, I won't say overnight, because this has not been overnight. We've been doing this shit in April. It'll be 4 full years. But if we get a deal for $1 million where we still maintain ownership, we still realize how little bit that $1 million is. That $1 million is just enough to get us to the next deal.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
But that $1 million means that we could quit whatever we do and focus straight on content.
It's pure content.
But even then I probably would be conflicted. Like, I still want to make money, but it's probably not worth, risking my life. You know
it's some people that be like, shout out to Derek Jenkins. He only this year, he has his Fit Movers business, but he only this year stopped working all other his jobs that he had. He was like a security guard at a school, at high schools, I think, for current high school district. Mm-hmm. But only like at the end of the year, last year or something like that. That was when he finally quit. But I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like, to think like his business they be booked up, like they be moving all across town, they be out of town sometimes.
He had to make sure.
Yeah, for
Everybody got their comfort. Like he probably was doing good, but he was like, let's see how this thing goes. Mm-hmm. And now he feels fully comfortable. Sustainable, and hopefully the guy can spend more time with his family, because I would imagine if you work a job and do that the demand is high, which means you would be away from your family a lot.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. But, shout out to Derek, man.
Yeah, shout out to him. But yeah, switching gears. Rapper Roddy Ricch just had a huge, I won't say a huge argument, but he had a choice of words on the app Clubhouse. Now, first off, Clubhouse is a terrible app. It's just an app where it's a bunch of people and a lot of people have an issue waiting their turn to talk. Mm-hmm. So when you get an app like Clubhouse, it seems like that whole idea of Clubhouse would be kind of like outdated. Having a bunch of people in one space and allowing people to talk, like, I don't know how great that works. But anyways,
I guess it's a virtual form of what. Like a conference.
It's just a conference call. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. Okay, but basically, there was a rapper. What's the guy's name again?
I think it's Jael.
Jael, okay, West Coast rapper. Mm-hmm. Older dude, too. I think he's like 37 or something, or almost 40 or whatever. The guy was basically talking about how Roddy Ricch ain't from the hood, and how he
false flagging.
He false flagging, basically meaning he's a fake Crip or a fake gangbanger, which, first of all, this is not important in the real world. Like, being a real Crip or a fake Crip is not going to make you extra money in the real world.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
But anyways, this guy is a grown-ass man saying this about Roddy Ricch, who is only 23 years old.
Yeah, Roddy's young. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So to make a long story short, Roddy Ricch actually got on Clubhouse, which seems like it's kind of beneath him because he doesn't really talk very much. He's pretty quiet. But he got on there. He was kind of pissed. He's like, yo, I've been hearing you saying I'm false flagging. What's up with that, bro? And he said, and then basically Roddy stated his opinion, or not his opinion, but his fact and his truth, saying I did get put on, bro. He's like, but you know, I stopped shooting videos in the hood because it was basically it's fucking his money up.
The label told him to stop shooting videos.
The label told him to stop shooting videos in the hood. And
Julie Greenwald, I think her name.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, and he said it's basically that street shit was conflicting with his money. So he doesn't promote that shit. He don't be throwing up gang signs and shit and always got a blue rag hanging out. He took that out of his music. So the dude said he was false flagging, he was this and he was that. And to make a long story short, the dude got had a pretty heated conversation. He just told that guy, Roddy told him, have you ever touched $1 million before? And the dude tried to jump over that topic. And he said, no. Have you touched $1 million before? And then he tried to jump over it again. He says, look, you could simply choose to deny the answer, but if you ain't made this money, bro, then you don't know what the fuck is going on. So basically, a grown ass man is trying to chastise a young man who is successful and has made $20 million in 1 year. He made $20 million last year being an artist, and you're trying to tell him that he's a fake gangbanger. Those two things don't even matter. Like, dude, if you made 20, he said, dude, I made $20 million last year. And he said, and you over here on Clubhouse arguing with niggas for free. That's sad. He said, dude, get your shit together. And you would think that a older dude around my age would be telling a young man that. But it was Roddy Ricch telling a older dude to get his life together. And it's sad. And it's just jealousy. Here's the problem. And this is the problem with content creators too. Musicians and content creators tend to get mad when someone is further along than them, right? They feel like they should be in that person's place. So they tend to lash out and say shit just because they hate the person. And then they actually validate the bullshit that comes in their mind because they hate that person so much that these feelings that I have about this person I hate, they have to be real feelings. Even though they're not real feelings, I'm going to make them real. This shit is a disease. And hate and jealousy is a disease, and it's leading to people dying. People like Nipsey getting killed, people like Young Dolph getting killed are happening because there are people who hate them, and you are literally going to this low dwelling area around these people that will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody in the hood is bad, but it's a lot of people that wish they had your place.
Envy, the Bible says envy makes the bones rot. So yeah, it's a real
Correlate
disease.
that, or like I'm trying to figure out how that makes.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you're jealous of a person, like it'll eat you alive. Like, you know, it's just not healthy for that emotion. Is just not healthy. It's not sustainable. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I think that instead of being envious, you look at a person's career, and you just need to realize it was their time. Like, this was their time. My time has not came yet, but it will come. And when it does come, it will be sweet because it is my time. My time's not supposed to look like your time. Your time can be way bigger than mine, but I'm okay with that. Okay, for example, you can have a Drake type career where you're Drake, or you could have like the rapper Currency. Both very successful. Currency owns everything and is very successful and releases, Jesus Christ, I don't know how many albums he releases a year. A lot. But they're both very successful. So your success is going to look different than another person's. It may take longer. You may be slower. Freddie Gibbs didn't really start coming on till a few years ago. He's been rapping. Freddie Gibbs is 40.
Yeah. He kind of finally got his, like, and he's working on an album now that's probably going to be the one that introduces him to the world. Yeah.
2 Chainz didn't really get hot till 36 years of age.
Sheesh.
So, I mean, come on. I just seen him on a fucking playoff commercial.
Yeah.
Who you rolling with?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, 2 Chainz got the most signature raps ever, bro. Like, ate her like an hour later, an hour later, an hour later.
Yeah. But no, I think that's a dangerous game to play. And what I took from that interaction is I started to feel very sad for the Jael dude, because what I realized is that when I see someone acting in a way where they are like beside themselves, or they're not aware of their emotions, or they're not aware of what they're doing. Like I start to feel very sad because I know it's a very like lost place. Like he's just in this abyss, and he's feeling all these things, and he's just taking it out on this situation,
right?
And he's not. And on top of the fact that he's getting sunned in the conversation.
Yeah.
And his only rebuttal is that people in the hood is telling him that such and such is doing this. And he's like, in everything that he's saying in the conversation is being shut down by real facts.
Yeah.
Like, you know, as far as like who he's communicating with, who he's hanging out with, who's his day-to-day people. And they're saying like, no, that these people are still around Roddy Ricch. So it was just when I listened to the whole thing, and then it got towards the end after Roddy Ricch had hopped off, and you know different people had hopped on that are you know close quarters with Roddy Ricch. They just sunning him, and like you were saying, it's a thing where, and kind of going back to that point where envy makes the bones rot. It's a thing where you sitting back and you watching somebody from your hood that's younger than you, that's out here. Diamond record, you know what I mean? DJ Mustard Records, working with Kanye West, all these different things. And you're also in the same field. And that's the dangerous part. Like when people are in the same field, that's where the most hate tends to come up. But you're in a position where, you know, you're seeing somebody younger than you that's popping, that's not only like a West Coast, you know, artist, but also just a global artist. And you're also in that same space making music, and you kind of, and I listened to one of his songs. He kind of has like a similar, not the same sound, but he has an auto-tune singy kind of thing going on, and but people are just not looking out for you like that.
Nah.
And you know that's dangerous territory, because when you don't know that you're operating from a place of envy or jealousy, you tend to act out on those things, and that can arise in terms of like hopping on Clubhouse, like, you know, trying to bully somebody, or, you know, trying to fight somebody, or, you know, the people that we have, you know, rest in peace to a lot of these artists. And, you know, we got Nipsey Hussle over here. Like, you know, those same situations, you know, oftentimes lead to people dying.
They do. But here's what happens worse is you have hate bonds. Mm-hmm. You know, they have trauma bonds for when people get in relationships, like they're bonding through trauma. And that's where these toxic relationships come from. Yeah. But when you have a hate bond, you've bonded together with people who also hate Roddy Ricch. Mm-hmm. So you're having these conversations about another person that only you can make sense out of, because y'all just haters. Mm-hmm. And that's where hate really comes from. You don't usually feel some way by yourself. The average person does not look within themselves to feel a certain way. Like, I hate Little Caesars Pizza. Shit is nasty. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm. But if you have to understand, if most people in America said that it was good, most people would agree with that.
Yeah.
That's just how people are, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't have their own opinion. Mm-hmm. So if you're a person that decided you hated Roddy Ricch and you felt that way, you probably feel a whole lot better about how you feel, because you found at least 5 to 6 more dudes that hate him the way you do.
Yeah.
So now you validated this bullshit that you had in your mind and in your heart. But now you look like a fucking fool when you speak to the actual person you've been hating on this whole time. And you know what was funny? Is when he got on Clubhouse with Roddy Ricch, he was almost starstruck. Mm-hmm. He just would freeze. Mm-hmm. He would just, when Roddy Ricch started talking over him, he just got quiet. Mm-hmm. So it's like, dog, in a way you admire him, even though you talking all this fucking shit.
Yeah.
So it's just sad, man. Like, you got to look within. If you find yourself hating somebody or being jealous of them, ask yourself what more you need to do in your life so you don't feel that way, dog.
Yeah, that's not I know some people that try to normalize jealousy, like it's just an emotion that, you know, it's just a human emotion. I'm okay with feeling this way. Like, nah, you got to rid yourself of that, because like first, you know, being jealous of people that you have some sort of relationship with is just the wrong emotions. You know, I think like if I had found out that somebody that I, you know, was friends with, or, you know, family members with, or whatever, was jealous of me, I would have to let them know, like, dog, it's not like, I'm just on the grind over here. It's not sweet. Or let them know that, you know, the reason why I am in this position is because I worked really hard. Like, and you can do the same thing. Like, just try to empower them. But like, that's not cool. Like, I have a lot of friends that are, you know, extremely successful, and, you know, people that are, you know, not necessarily friends that I'm just cordial with. Whether it's guys like Kevin Edwards or Tyron and all these guys, like, I'm rooting for all these guys. You know, when Tyron was in college, I was watching his games, you know, on TV, just trying to support. When he got drafted, I was watching the draft, and, you know, Kevin Edwards, you know, the same way, just trying to support him, you know, from a distance and stuff like that. But I don't look at anybody that I know that is extremely successful, or even Blue, like, you know, him directing like music videos for Blast and all these things. Like, I'm just excited and happy for people's journeys. Like, I don't really feel jealousy. If I do feel jealousy, it's not like, it doesn't come to light in terms of jealousy. It comes to light in terms of like motivation.
All right.
Like, oh, I see you doing this. Let me get on my thing so I don't get left behind.
100%.
But yeah, I don't. That's some emotion. And if any of our listeners out there, like, it's you know, you feel like that, that's fine. But we definitely have to address these things, because these are, like we said, that it comes about in a way where it's going to be an argument. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a fight, some shape or form. It's going to be like something that is not. It's just something toxic is definitely going to come out of it. Yeah,
I'll say this. And you talked about in forms of motivation when you see somebody else moving, and I agree. I think that we're in less than 6 degrees of people who have been successful in what they do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you got Kevin Edwards, who is a huge YouTuber. Mm-hmm. Todd Jones, who's been on the podcast twice.
Yeah.
Has he been on 3 times? No, twice.
Yeah. You did the other podcast.
The other podcast with them. Verbal Exchange podcast. Shout out to them. Mm-hmm. Freaking Blue, who has been working with Blast for a while. Mm-hmm. And this is not to just name drop. I'm just saying that when you're in a few degrees of separation of people who, you know, people directly that work with these people, mm-hmm. you see what success looks like, is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to be jealous of what anyone's doing. Mm-hmm. You could look at them and say, you know what, I could make it. Not just because they made it, but I know what success looks like. I know what I have to do. And I'm on the right track.
No, I think I told you this on the phone before, but when I seen Blast's career go from, you know, 0 to 100, I was like, oh, this is like tangible. This is feasible. This is possible. Because if you're somebody trying to be successful in anything, and your only viewpoint of success is like 50 Cent or Jay-Z or whoever, you're like, oh, okay, like these, you know, Dr. Dre discovered him, or Eminem found him, or, you know, whatever, you know, they had drug money and they did it. You know, it's like, it's not a story that you could kind of latch onto. Right. But when you see like a guy like Blast, you're like, okay, like this is how he did it.
Shout out to Russ too.
Russ for sure. Yeah. Just like his story, even Blast's story, they're more relatable to a person that is trying to achieve success. That's just you know, your average person. It's not gang affiliated. It's not, you know, tied in with drugs and all this. Like, there are people that are just like, they just put out good music consistently enough, and then it just caught fire. And now they're moving in a way where, you know, they're you know, making a lot of money off of, you know, the kind of work that they put in 4 or 5 years ago. So
yeah, man.
Yeah,
definitely.
But, I think like, I mean, just to kind of reiterate, I don't believe that jealousy is okay in any way, shape, or form. Yeah,
it's counterproductive because you're taking, what you could do is, if you see somebody make it, let's say, for example, it's an artist from your city, you work with them, and you done some songs with them, and then they blow up way before you do, right? Or not even, you ain't blown up at all, but you've worked with them, and now they've went to another stratosphere. The best thing for you to do is keep working on your craft. Don't worry about them. Keep a good relationship with them also. Yeah. Don't speak badly about those people, you know, because they're not going to forget, you know, what artist is working, which one's doing what. And if you get that alley-oop, that could take your career to the next level.
Yeah, for sure.
You think about it. Don't hate on the person that's from your city. You ain't got to kiss their ass either. Just do you. Stay to yourself. Keep doing your thing. and don't speak ill on the person. And the person will reach back like, yo, Keith is dope, or Eddie is dope. Like, I was on a podcast 3 years ago. Like, I want to do an interview now that I just did a song with The Weeknd. Like, you never know. You never know what type of relationships can uplift your content.
Yeah,
that's another reason why you want to stay respectful and true to what you're doing.
Yeah, and shout out to Joe Maynard too. He's the guy. Like when it comes to success as a music artist in Bakersfield, he's like the most successful in terms of numbers. So
yes,
shout out to him too. He's like one of those ones where and even for him, he was at my mom's crib, in the room, recording with my brother and stuff like that. Many years ago. So to see where he's at now, like. You never gonna get no hate from me in terms of like Joe Maynard's career and his success.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, actually, we got another one. We can knock out. All right. Switching gears. Weed might be the cure to COVID. I don't know if any, and that's kind of saying that loosely, by the way. I don't know, but this is the information I've gotten. COVID-19 may be blocked by cannabis compound, study says. Compounds found in hemp may prevent the virus that causes COVID-19 from entering human cells, according to a new study published by the Journal of Natural Products. Researchers at Oregon State found that a pair of cannabinoid acids bind to spike protein in SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. This blocks the spike protein from binding with angiotensin-converting enzyme receptors. The spike protein hooks onto the ACE2 receptors that are located in the lining of the lungs and other organs, which is how the virus infects people. Health experts explained to Fox News. That means cell entry inhibitors like acids from hemp could be used to prevent SARS-CoV infection and also shorten infections by preventing virus particles from infecting human cells, said Richard Van Bremen, a researcher at Oregon State's Global Hemp Innovation Center, College of Pharmacy in Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State. Okay. What I'll say is this. I mean, it's been proven that hemp or cannabis has medicinal purposes, right? Mm-hmm. I think that some people are going to take this the wrong way. I don't know how they're asking you to possibly inject this in order for it to block it. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to say, you should smoke weed. First of all, I don't smoke. Secondly, I would never suggest that you smoke just because it may block COVID, but we don't know because weed smoke goes into your lungs. I don't know how you would inject this. Would it be through rubbing oil on you? Would it be through taking it into your digestive system with medicated gummies? I don't know how they really asked you to ingest it if it did. But what I do know, without a shadow of a doubt, that if a bunch of Americans who took these booster shots and got the vaccine, if they go out and start smoking weed, then the price of honey buns will be $20 a box. The demand for honey buns will be through the fucking roof if they do this shit.
No, I think like what I would want just the listeners to know or realize is that a lot of medicine is just theories, right? So what happens is they do, studies on certain things. They may have a group of 20 people and they'll let them smoke weed or whatever. And then, they maybe give them a dose of COVID and see how the weed and the COVID interacts. And then maybe like 12 out of those 20 people have had, minimal progress in terms of dealing with COVID. And then they create an article based off of what they experience in there.
Limited studies.
And then they type up this whole article and then somebody reads it and they take out a few sentences and then they put it in another blog or an article and then they try to sum up, 40 pages, 50 pages of an article. Even in terms of concussions, right?
Yeah.
We almost 100% know that the football injuries lead to CTE and all these things, right? But even in terms of the study that they did, we realize that it's not a thing that they can actually pinpoint. It's probably more technically like a coincidence, right? That, somebody that has these head injuries that ends up having like the degenerative like brain injuries. So basically what I'm saying is that like these are a lot of this stuff is as theoretical and it's high probabilities of stuff. It's not necessarily like finite.
Yeah.
This is this because of this. It's more like this is probably happening because of this.
Yeah. And science disproves itself all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's going to happen is through new studies, like actually, smoking marijuana can be counterproductive in the fighting of COVID-19.
Yeah.
Well, you just told me it stops it. But here's the problem. People only acknowledge the stories that they want to believe. So all the people that already smoke weed, they're going to be like, see, this is why you should smoke, because it stopped COVID. And I'm telling you, it was in the papers. They'd be like, well, that's been disproven. I don't care what they say.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, dude.
It's a lot of like home remedies that, people say or like think that work that is just not real.
Put some bacon grease on your dick. What's that going to do? I don't know, but like you put some bacon grease on it.
If you bust in her and she jump up and down, she won't get pregnant. You'd be like, nah, dog, that don't work.
That sound like voodoo, man.
Yeah.
Like fucking witchcraft. Oh, man. Slutty Mon. Imagine they had Pokemons, but like
Slutty
adult
Mon.
versions. Busty Mon.
Busty Mon.
Slutty Mon.
That'd be a crazy, like, little cosplay porno.
Would it be like Pikachu with a big ass?
Busty Mon. That's funny.
Pokemon doing the Busty challenge and shit.
Nah,
Yo, people really stopped doing that.
What?
That Busty challenge was big for a minute.
Yeah, ebbs and flows.
I seen a bunch of people doing the Busty challenge. I'm like, yo, like you out here. It'd be a whole married woman doing the Busty challenge.
Yeah. It's interesting about like some people's, primarily on like TikTok, is like there's women that have like primarily like sexual content. And what kind of going back to that conversation we had before about stuff just being like content is you realize that person that's on there, she's doing like the Busted Challenge, she's doing like, they do the little voiceover things, and a lot of them be like
so
sexual
trash,
stuff like that. You realize that's probably a girl that's just like the nicest girl and probably is not like super freaky. But she knows that the content that she's putting out gets a lot of traction because there's guys out there that are, she's attractive. There's guys out there that, like to look at her. They think that they may have this fantasy about, if she does these sexual, jokes and stuff like that, like maybe I have a chance or.
Yeah.
But you realize like this is just this is wild.
There's a whole jack off section on TikTok.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, come on, man. You
They
got to
just
be
playing
careful
it.
to what you subscribe to, man. Because you'll have nothing but big booties in your algorithm. I love big booties in real life. Like in real life.
Algorithm.
Yeah, I like big asses in real life. I don't need to click on all of these asses I'm not getting.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It does nothing for you.
It does nothing for me. But to each his own. I'm not going to judge you if you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, not a whole lot else about this, man. Episode 200, man. We got another 100 straight. Hopefully by 300 plus.
Yeah.
We want to be in this space,
Couple
man.
years from now. Shout out to like everybody there might be, and I don't know for sure, but there's probably somebody that listened to all 200 episodes. So
Yeah,
if you are that person, man, shout out to you for supporting us. That genuinely keeps us going, because sometimes we could come in here and we'd be like, man, the numbers is down, or whatever the case may be. But knowing that there are people that are like genuinely like they can listen to Rory and Maul, they can listen to Joe Budden, they can listen to Joe Rogan, and then right after they finish with that, they throw our podcast on there.
It's like to even be mentioned amongst these other podcasts is a big deal to us, because we realize the investment that it takes out of your day. I've said this, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I've said this a million times. But for anyone to take moments out of their day to turn your podcast on, don't you ever take that for granted, because they could be doing something else.
Oh, for sure.
But they decided to listen to you. So don't try to, treat the audience like they just some low-dwelling person.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You got to be appreciative of just
100%.
people supporting in any aspect. But yeah, for sure, make sure y'all also, hit that notification bell, subscribe to the YouTube channel. The numbers, they small over there, but, it'll get up
It's all right. I'm not even mad at any of it, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it all starts.
Yeah, it's a journey.
It's a journey for sure. Journey may take a while, but you just gotta stay past. Once you reach your threshold, you gotta go past it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But yeah, man, for all those who have made it to the end of this podcast, we appreciate you. Yep. Thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We're out of here.
Peace.